Good, happy Saturday morning, March 5th, 2022. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this Saturday morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Saturday morning, so let's get started right now. First up, men injured in Bradford explosion suffered burns, initial injuries. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
To be a part of the team at Caesar Chimney Service, the only prerequisite is be just a little bit crazy. We can train you to do everything.
The explosion happened Thursday at a garage being utilized by Student Transportation of America, housing school buses for the Kearsarge School District. Injured were two mechanics, Tim White and Bobby Snare.
I instantly just crumbled.
Snare's sisters tell News 9 getting that call about their 36-year-old brother was gut-wrenching.
There's no good way to have those conversations, especially in a flight or fight moment. So everybody's just in shock right now.
Bobby Snare has been working as a school bus mechanic more than a dozen years. His sisters say he loves music, but has a long road to recovery ahead after surviving the explosion and subsequent fire.
Essentially, we're thinking both victims were thrown, and that's how they kind of sustained the internal injuries.
A spine fracture and some internal bleeding that's going on, and so they're kind of trying to figure out that stuff first to be able to stabilize him. And then the burns are they're serious, they're third-degree burns, but they're a little bit more of a secondary concern at the moment.
As the victims recover, Bradford police releasing new details about several people who witnessed the explosion and ran toward the fire to help.
They did not need to do that. They could have been standing nearby and just, making 911 calls, but they were within 2-3 feet of the fire.
And the Kearsarge School District tells us that 4 school buses were totaled in the fire. Another 8 buses and vans were heavily damaged, but they do tell us other school districts have been reaching out and offering them resources. All of their school bus routes will be back to normal on Monday. In Bradford, Scott Cook, WMU.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire State Police cruiser struck by tractor trailers dislodged tire on I-95 in Greenland. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
I think what sets us apart is the fact that our technicians live and breathe only chimneys. It's not a part of our company.
Despite this damage to a New Hampshire State Police cruiser after striking a tractor-trailer wheel on I-95 Thursday night, the trooper driving suffered only minor injuries.
Maybe even a little bit of luck, quite frankly.
Captain Christopher Vetter says the trooper's safe driving habits could have had a big effect.
Keep your speed under control, stay within, the posted speed limits, wear your seat belts, be aware of your surroundings, and hopefully if you're involved in an incident such as this, you'll walk away such as she did.
Captain Vetter says the unknown driver of the tractor trailer was traveling down the southbound side of the interstate when a wheel unlodged. That wheel then traveling through the median only to collide with the trooper going northbound.
This is just a guess based on my experience is that this probably was something that was in front of the trooper, maybe before she even knew it. So she may have struck it before she even saw it, quite frankly.
Captain Vetter says tires coming off tractor trailers like this isn't unheard of, making cautious driving even more vital.
These are things that we've seen before. So, can be dangerous, obviously, especially at those types of speeds.
And the next step in the investigation, and according to state police, is to try to figure out who is driving that tractor trailer and figure out whether or not they know they lost a tire on the day of that accident. Live in Bedford, Grace Feinerman, WMUR News 9.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. U.S. Supreme Court reimposes Boston Marathon bomber Tsarnaev's death sentence. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
To be a part of the team at Caesar Chimney Service, the only prerequisite is be just a little bit crazy. We can train you.
Well, that survivor says this was the right decision. But this doesn't mark the end of this case. Legal experts say Tsarnaev has a year to file another appeal, and this could drag on for years. Today's 6-3 ruling reverses a federal appeals court decision to throw out Tsarnaev's death sentence. It says a trial judge should have allowed evidence that could have shown Tsarnaev's brother, Tamerlan, influenced him, and that the judge didn't properly screen prospective jurors for media bias. But the Supreme Court's conservative justices ruled Tsarnaev did get a fair sentencing phase of his trial. The 3 liberal justices dissented. One man who lost his leg in the bombing says the sentence is justice.
It's what should be done. That should be the message being sent. You can't just set off bombs in crowds of innocent people.
Even though it has been reinstated, it is unlikely that Tsarnaev's death penalty will be carried out anytime soon. The Justice Department put a moratorium on federal executions last summer. Monica Hernandez, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire residents say they're inspired by courage of Ukrainians. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Whoa. Sorry, you probably didn't catch all that. Well, as you can see, Fidium...
The people of Ukraine are living the horrors of war. A former housing and urban development official with ties to Eastern Europe, staying in touch, sharing experiences.
She couldn't sleep. There was recent bombings that night, and I have another friend that's making the track to Romania, and she's a single mom and knows no one in Romania.
Incredible humanitarian efforts in border countries like Poland.
Everyone I know is collecting clothes, picking up people, opening their homes.
Over 1 million refugees have left, but 40 million remain. Bombs hitting neighborhoods.
Basically, the metro station had also been hit, the main line, so they were concerned that the heat was going to go out, and there's thousands of women and children that are in shelter there.
So many standing strong.
And she's 5 months pregnant, in her 20s, and I'm staying and helping on the home front and staying with my husband right now.
Courage on display.
It's former president, to ordinary citizens at every age. I just, I ask myself, how can one country create so many, in my opinion, superheroes?
Technology allows us to stay in touch in real time with people that are experiencing this, either posts on social media, all of that, making the reality of war hard to ignore. And vigils like this one really drive that home. In Dover, Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. Four more die of COVID-19 in New Hampshire as cases and hospitalizations fall. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
What does it take to be the best? It takes guts, grit.
Covering COVID-19 tonight, New Hampshire is now averaging fewer than 200 new cases a day for the first time since August 15th. The state announcing 201 new cases today. Active cases are down slightly, but there are 4 new COVID-related deaths to report.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire child advocate warns Harmony Montgomery report could jeopardize federal funds. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Whoa. Sorry, you probably didn't catch all that. Well, as you can see, Fidium is fast. Like really fast. But we know speed isn't everything. That's why Fidium offers whole home Wi-Fi connectivity, gig download, and upload speeds, and an easy-to-use app to manage it all. Impressive. And it's also why Fidium eliminates data caps, gimmicks, and hidden fees. Finally, there's internet that's flexible, friendlier, faster for you. Yeah, you, and whatever you do.
The head of the Office of the Child Advocate says she has concerns over what was released in this report regarding the case of missing 7-year-old Harmony Montgomery.
You know, it's very clearly that there's case information that's been exposed here.
That case information involves certain details regarding the Montgomery family that O'Neill says violates federal laws that establish the confidentiality of child protection records.
This is why there are confidentiality laws. It's to protect children and parents, and to be able to bring them into the system with trust so that we can help them be better parents and children be safe.
O'Neill says there may be financial ramifications if New Hampshire is found to be in violation of the laws, including hefty fines.
But in fact, the federal money that's involved here is the money that pays for 1,700 children who are in foster care or in very expensive residential care, where we're trying to help them. And so there's a lot at stake here.
Governor Sununu's office says withholding vital information that can and should be made public to help aid in the search for Harmony would be a dereliction of duty. In a statement, Sununu's office writes, quote, "As required by law, certain discretion was taken to remove personal details not pertinent to finding Harmony. The information that was shared in last week's update was released after consultation with the New Hampshire Department of Justice." And O'Neill says she was never presented with the report before its public release. She says the federal government is aware of the report, but right now it's unclear if any action will be taken. Reporting live, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Russian government cracks down on press. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
This is why you want farmers' claim forgiveness. Your home premium won't go up just because of this.
Wow, that's something.
You get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Tonight, the White House says it is deeply concerned about the threat to freedom of speech inside Russia. There has been a new crackdown tonight. The Kremlin and Parliament now threatening reporters with up to 15 years in prison for spreading what they call, quote, fake news, potentially outlawing words like war or invasion. And tonight here, the last thing the independent TV station played before they walked out. Mary Bruce at the White House.
Tonight, the White House says it is deeply concerned about Russian plans to block access to Facebook and threats to freedom of speech as the Kremlin is now cracking down on the press. Vladimir Putin signing a law tonight making it a crime to spread what the Russian government considers fake news about the conflict in Ukraine. The maximum penalty, 15 years in jail. Independent Russian news outlets have always found it difficult to operate. Now it's impossible. The staff at Moscow's last independent TV station walking off set as their final symbolic broadcast played out. Swan Lake, the ballet that played on state TV at the fall of the Soviet Union. Some Western networks, including ABC News, are now not broadcasting from the country.
We don't want to find that out the hard way by finding that someone has said something which we believe to be true or used words which are now outlawed, like war or invasion. And find that we're then punished in a completely draconian and unacceptable way.
More than 8,000 anti-war protesters have been detained across Russia in the last week, according to an independent report. They too could face up to 15 years in jail. But Putin's support does run deep, as our James Longman saw.
So you don't believe that Russia is invading Ukraine at the moment?
Of course I do not believe it. It's nonsense, she says. If it was needed, Russia would have captured Ukraine a long time ago.
Mary Bruce joined us from the White House tonight. And Mary, we've now seen several news organizations pause their own broadcasting from Russia. And of course, we know that includes ABC News.
David, because of this new censorship law passed in Russia today, we are now seeing some Western networks, including CNN, Bloomberg, and the BBC, and of course our very own ABC News team, now not broadcasting from Russia. An ABC News spokesperson adding, quote, "We will continue to assess the situation and determine what this law means for the safety of our teams on the ground." The White House tonight telling me the Russian people deserve to know about the death and destruction being inflicted by their government on the people of Ukraine. David.
But yes, the safety and security of our team is paramount. Mary Bruce live at the White House. Mary, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stuff.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Have a great day, everyone, and goodbye.